Good evening. The House Justice Panel is asking Vice President Sara Duterte to respond to the two verified impeachment complaints against her. House Justice Panel Chair Jervin Luistro signed a notice to respondent for Duterte, the copy of which was furnished to the media on Thursday, March 5. Staff at the Office of the Vice President headquarters received the notice for Duterte at 10:44 a.m. on Thursday. Based on the document, Duterte is given 10 calendar days from the receipt of this notice to file her verified answer to the impeachment drafts. According to the notice, Duterte's non-submission of her verified answer within the aforementioned period would be interpreted as general denial to the allegations contained in the complaints. Earlier, the Justice Committee deemed the third and fourth impeachment complaints against Duterte as sufficient in form and substance. Clergy members and lawyers led by Father Joel Saballa filed the third complaint, while attorney Nathaniel Cabrera lodged the fourth complaint. The third complaint cited 6 grounds, including betrayal of public trust and the alleged misuse of confidential funds, among others. The fourth RAP raised 7 grounds, including an alleged assassination plot, sedition, and subversion of constitutional order, among others. According to Luistro, the next impeachment proceeding or the hearing will begin after the Holy Week or in the second week of April. The Department of the Interior and Local Government files a criminal complaint against Bureau of Fire Protection Chief Fire Director Jesus Fernandez over alleged kickbacks. Fernandez is accused of receiving a total of 14.7 million pesos in kickbacks for the alleged systematic manipulation of the Bureau's bidding for 132 ambulances. This allegedly occurred while he was the chairperson of the Bureau's Bids and Awards Committee in 2024. In a press briefing on Thursday, March 5, Assistant Secretary Jesse Howard Lanete says they filed both criminal and administrative cases against Fernandez before the Office of the Ombudsman on Wednesday, March 4.
Today we filed against BFP Fire Chief Fernandez and the supplier cases of violation of Section 3E of Republic Act number 3019, otherwise known as the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. Together with that, we filed a case of direct bribery for the acceptance of 14.752 million in documented illicit payments made from the supplier to Fernandez. We likewise filed a case of malversation of public funds for the criminal diversion and mismanagement pertaining to these 132 ambulances.
Given this development, Laneta says the DILG also requested the Ombudsman to place Fernandez under preventive suspension. Assistant Secretary Brian May Tomas further notes that the case includes a second accused, a supplier whom he identified as businesswoman Rosa Verna Sanga of AutoZone Prime Distributors Incorporated. According to Tomas, the procurement for the ambulances began in September 2024. He alleged that Sanga had entered the bidding process through a joint venture with an automotive company and was awarded a contract for the ambulances delivery. This was reportedly followed by a payout to Fernandez of 2 suitcases containing 6 million pesos and 4.7 million pesos in November 2024. Another luggage containing 4 million pesos was also allegedly paid out. The inquiry is working to seek comment from both Fernandez and Sanga. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla says this was only the beginning of filing charges against BFP officials after uncovering the alleged corruption in the agency.
Part 1 pa lang to ng charges na ipapile namin ukol sa mga BFP officials. Sa mga susunod na araw, may na-develop na rin kaming kaso tungkol sa bid rigging sa pagbibili ng fire trucks. Kung kala nyo malaki to, super laki naman ang ginagawa nila sa fire trucks. I was personally offered through an intermediary 1.5 million pesos per truck as a cut sa bibili ng bawat truck ng BFP. That spurred my investigation kung gaano ko corrupt talaga mga taon to.
Vice President Sara Duterte criticizes the supposed silence of civil society groups on the flood control corruption scandal as the impeachment complaints against her advances in the House. In a statement on Thursday, March 5, Duterte commends former Representative Zaldico's former security personnel who recently came forward. The 18 men identified themselves as former Philippine Marines and alleged they had served as bagmen in the delivery of some 805 billion pesos in kickbacks from anomalous flood control projects to several lawmakers and President Bongbong Marcos. Duterte calls out what she describes as the deafening silence of groups as the allegations against her made the center of hearings, privileged speeches, and what she calls relentless fishing expeditions. She says these groups used to be quick to issue statements. She accuses the current administration of having no interest or immediate action to investigate bribes related to flood control, the International Criminal Court, and the impeachment efforts against her. Duterte stresses that outrage over corruption issues should not be selective. The Marcos administration launched its investigation into corruption in flood control projects last year. Several cases have been filed against public officials, including and personnel from the Department of Public Works and Highways. Meanwhile, the lower chamber recently advanced impeachment complaints against Duterte after declaring 2 complaints sufficient in form and substance. Contractor Curlee Discaya was taken out of Senate detention to visit the hospital. In a message on Thursday, March 5, Discaya's lawyer Cornelio Samaniego III says the contractor had been feeling a lot of things while in Senate detention. In a separate message, Senate President Tito Soto says he was told Discaya had an MRI for a frozen shoulder that was in pain. The Senate leader says Discaya had been in and out of the hospital. Soto later confirms that Discaya had been returned to Senate custody. Discaya has been detained in the Senate since September 2025 after he was cited for contempt for supposedly lying. During a Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing on alleged anomalous flood control projects, he told the panel that his wife, Sara, was absent due to health issues. However, Sara had sent an excuse letter stating an employee meeting for her non-attendance. Sara is currently detained at the Lapu-Lapu City Jail over graft and malversation charges. According to the Department of Public Works and Highways records, the Discaya's construction firm secured over 207 billion pesos in government contracts nationwide. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good afternoon.